At Red Barn, our pet food ingredients work overtime. They aren't just there for show. Dandelion greens work to maintain a healthy digestive system. Salmon oil works to enhance the immune system. Green-lipped mussels work to support joint health. These hard-working ingredients support your dog's active, healthy life. Look at the label. We want you to. Red Barn Naturals Pet Food. Simply the best. Find it in your local pet specialty store. Visit redbarninc.com/coupon to save $1 off your first can.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, and welcome to Conscious Talk Radio, and I'm your host, Linda Summers, and these shows are about relationships and all that encompasses, and our guest experts on the show will provide you with information as to how you can become more connected with yourself. And today's show is Women's Personal Development Taken to Another Level with Michael Peak. And before we bring Michael on board, I would like to give you a little bit of background information about him. During his Emmy Award-winning career as a television journalist, Michael Peak has experienced over 50,000 different points of view, and not tucked away in some studio. Peak has spent his entire career in the field, on the streets, experiencing all aspects of life in the world's most prosperous nation, interviewing the winners and losers. He began his career at the age of 19, carrying around a 40-pound videotape recorder for $3 an hour at the CBS station in San Diego. He worked for several TV stations over the next 20 years, interviewing tens of thousands of people and becoming an acclaimed producer of quality and conscious television. In addition to his career as a journalist, Michael is an accomplished seminar leader, speaker, and novelist. He currently produces a number of seminars. One, the Intrinsically Magnificent Seminar, which has already reached an international audience, helps women remove negative feelings about men, love, sex, and money. The other one, A Matter of Persuasion, is a powerful event designed to help you become more persuasive in your life. Peak's accomplishments have not gone unnoticed. He has often been captivated into the spotlight. Michael has several television appearances, including national shows such as Entertainment Tonight, Vicki Lisa, and A Closer Look with Faith Daniels. Michael is a world traveler and currently lives in Carlsbad, California. And with that, I'd love to welcome Michael to the show. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Linda. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
You're welcome, and I want to let all the listeners know that it is Michael's birthday today, so he is doing an interview on his birthday. So happy birthday, Michael.
Thank you so much. I just turned 17 again this year.
Right? Oh, how wonderful. Isn't it wonderful to go back to the teen years, and how wonderful does that feel, right?
Yes, I don't know if I'd want to be a teenager again, but it sounds good.
Well, yeah, 17 is not so bad, but, you know, I mean, you're at least over that age of just the driving and all that. So anyway, but, well, happy birthday to you. We appreciate you being on the show. So
Thank you. I appreciate being here. Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. You have done a lot of things being in TV and all of that, and then you transitioned to a seminar leader. And not only being a seminar leader, but you were doing seminars around women, which is very fascinating because I'm sure women out there or people out there saying, what qualifies Michael Peak to be addressing women? So that's really kind of where I want to begin, is what qualifies you to be addressing women, especially personal development.
Yeah, well, thank you for asking that. And we could spend the whole show talking about all of my qualifications to do an event for women. But what I like to point out most is after we do the seminar, Intrinsically Magnificent Seminar, after we do that, the number one phone call I get afterwards is, thank you, you saved my marriage. I think that's qualification enough. Now, of course, single women, when they take the event, they don't say anything about marriage. Usually their response is, woohoo! And I'm not really sure what that means, but it sure sounds interesting.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. So I really have, my next question is how did you come into doing women's empowerment? I mean, you know, you qualified yourself. So how did you even why did you even start doing that?
Well, I was working in TV news for a really long time, and TV news physically destroys you, physically, emotionally, spiritually, everything, but physically. And I literally broke my back covering TV news and spent 3 years having 2 surgeries and lying in bed. And one night I was like 2 a.m, and I saw the infamous Tony Robbins infomercial. And I got his package, and I listened to it, and I thought, I can do that. I bet I can do what he does. So I began learning, as I was recovering from back surgery, I began learning all sorts of different technologies and practices, and I ended up working for a seminar company. And this is while eventually I got well enough to go back, and I worked part-time in news. And what I found out was, when I was learning all this stuff, a lot of my negative stuff was taken out of me. And I started working in news, and I went, wow, what happened to all these people? They're all so angry and mean. And nothing had happened to them. It was me. I had been one of them, and I shifted. And so I knew I had to stop working in news. And so I began working in the seminar business. And I knew I was going to eventually be doing my own event, but it came about that several women approached me and said, hey, look, you have a special insight that can help women more than any other group, especially women who are like 40s or 50s and their kids have grown. The kids don't need mom as much anymore, and mom's looking for what's next. I just, for some reason, had that voice, and so they asked me to put on an event, and I had to start doing a lot of research to find out what they wanted and what actually the issues were. And once I figured it out, I went, oh, of course, I have to do this because I can help fix this. And that's kind of what got me started, was just people requesting that I do it. I hadn't thought of doing an event for women. I just knew I was going to be doing something to help get people over their negative stuff. But this just worked out fine because, let's face it, I wanted to work on people who were like the mom of the family, because when the mom of the family is doing well, the family is doing well. And when mom's not doing well, the family is not doing well. And so my perspective was, let's help the women and the moms, because if we can get them better, then we can get the family better. So that was kind of my initial approach.
Wow, I love that. So when they had said that you have insight to help, what prompted that? Like, what was the insight that they saw that you had to help?
One of the things that when I started asking people what they wanted, what I found was they all of them, all the women who I talked to, and it's pretty much almost a universal thing now, and even men, but they all had negative feelings about men, all of them. And even men have negative feelings about men. Well, what happens is if you have negative feelings about men, it just messes up everything, because you're not going to make as much money. If you're in business, you have to deal with men, and men will pick it up that you have negative feelings about them. And of course, it will affect your relationships with, if you have a husband or a boyfriend, or if you have sons. That was the big motivator with me when women heard me talk and say this one thing. When I was a kid, all the other kids wanted to have my mom. They all said I had the best mom in the world. And it was true until I got to be about her height. And then suddenly she just changed and was just rotten. There's no other way to say it. And I talked to my sister about it. She's 8 years older than me. And she said, well, of course, Mom hates men. So she wants to love you as her son, but you've now grown into a man, and she can't reconcile that. And that one message alone, I think, resonates with women, because they're going, oh, my God, I have sons. I don't want to be doing this to them. Or how is this negative feelings I'm having toward men affecting my life? And once they start thinking about that, that's where we start, and we start removing. When we do the seminar, we just remove negative feelings about men. That's the first thing that we do, because if we don't do that, then nothing else matters. I can't give you any information that you'll use. No one can. No one. You can go to whoever that you go, whatever guru that you go see. If you're holding strong negative feelings about men or love or even sex or certainly money, if you're holding negative feelings about those, no one can help you. And that's why people go to seminar after seminar after seminar and nothing changes, because they're still holding on to all that negative stuff. So it doesn't matter what the guru tells you. It can't get past that negativity. So my seminars are not about me giving you information to do anything. It's about let's start and remove all this negativity that you can go out and be the person that you're supposed to be, the beautiful and magnificent person that you're supposed to be.
Wow, I love that. And it's so true, because you can have all the information in the world, and we know it's an inside job. So you really have to go in and get to the origin, to the, it's all embedded in the cells. And so it's really shifting the mindset as well. So with that being said, how do you help women remove the negative feelings about men, love, sex, and money? What you just talked about. How do you do that?
Okay, well, I call it Michael Magic. And we actually just do some processes, and we just make them disappear. Now, I'll backtrack and give you the story of that. While I was recovering from the back surgery and I saw the Tony Robbins infomercial, he is the one who made NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, famous. He did not invent it, although he likes to imply that he did. He didn't invent it, but he was the marketing genius behind it, and he brought it to the masses. And I was so intrigued because I saw that he could get people over things quickly. So I took a year-long training in NLP. Well, NLP is great. It works better than anything else, okay? So Tony Robbins became famous because he could get someone over a phobia in 20 minutes. And, wow, that's great, because if you go to a therapist, you're going to go to the therapist for a year. And after the year, you're still going to have the phobia. You're just going to hate your parents. So I liked the style of NLP, but it was like DOS computers. So you remember DOS computers with the big floppy drive? So those things were great back in the 80s, but they're not so useful now. And that's what had happened with NLP. It just kind of became obsolete. And so I began to evolve it, and so did many other people. Many people have evolved it, and we've all learned from each other, and it's now no longer NLP. There is no word for it. So when Tony Robbins got people over a phobia in 20 minutes, it was great. But I would say now, why would I waste so much time when I can do it in 2 minutes easily?
Oh, wow.
It's just evolved. I had to evolve it. For example, when I was learning these things, we had learned the process of how to get someone over a headache or a negative feeling. And it took 15 minutes to do the process. While I was working in TV news at the time, everyone had a headache all the time. Everyone had negative feelings about everybody else all the time. I had plenty of people to practice on, but I didn't have 15 minutes. I had 2 minutes before they went on a story or before I did. So I had to make it work fast. So I just call it Michael Magic. So we do processes, and we literally make the connection between your memory of whatever it is and the neural pathway connecting the negative feeling to where you have. We just erase it. So even if you have post-traumatic stress disorder, what we do is we just erase the connection between the memory and the feeling. So when you think of whatever it is, you feel nothing. And that will work with negative feelings about men, or negative feelings about love or sex or money, or your husband or your ex-husband. That's the big thing. You hear people, I'm sure you know people, they just can't stop complaining about their ex. Well, I can get them over that in 5 minutes, so they feel nothing about their ex. Even if the ex walks in the room, they just go, okay, well, whatever.
Wow. And so what is your success rate with that? Have you found that it's, 99% successful? I mean, how does that, do you find that, I guess what I'm asking you too, is do you find there's people that are resistant to allowing that process?
Well, of course. There's never been a product, a service, a message, a treatment, or anything that's appropriate for 100% of the people 100% of the time. It's just not going to happen. For example, I did this one seminar, the Intrinsically Magnificent seminar, and the woman who was the sponsor of it, she's the one who got all the people together to be there, and she needed it the most. And whenever we would do one of the processes, she'd just sit back, cross her arms, and just shake her head. She wouldn't even close her eyes. So how did it work for her? It didn't. She didn't want it to work. Some people don't want to get better. So there's nothing that I can do. However, usually if someone's in enough pain that they're willing to go to an event and pay to go to an event or pay to see a practitioner, then there's leverage on that person. They want to get better, and so the success rate is very high for people who really want to shift. But if they don't want to shift, forget it. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, like you said, I think that's really true that we have to get to such a magnificent pain before we're willing to actually shift. We can deal with it for a while, and then there comes a moment in time where you're like, I can't do this anymore. I've got to find a way, a means to be able to get over this. And so it's kind of where I see, that some people like that coming into play. Do they have to dive into the pain where other people are like, shoot, let me just start now, Let's go about with the men, because all of the men, the love, the sex, and the money are such huge, even women too. You can put in there about negative feelings about women that men have about women. So I wouldn't think it's probably as much as it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
The thing, though, that's a whole different ball game, though. Men having negative feelings about women because it's so different. How men have negative feelings about different is so how men have negative feelings about women is so different than how women have negative feelings about men, because just the dynamics are so different. So, for example, I've met you in person. We've been in the same room. We've talked and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry I was coughing, but most women are just not as big as strong as men, and so men pose a physical threat to women, even if there is no threat. Like, I would never threaten you or anyone, but the fact that I'm there and I'm bigger, we're just wired to have that on a subconscious level, that man is bigger, stronger, potentially dangerous, because the more masculine, we have the dichotomy of the masculine and the feminine, right? So in the ultimate feminine, the feminine gives life. So the opposite of that, the masculine would be, the masculine does what? Takes life. The warrior is the ultimate masculine, and the masculine is out there, the warriors are out there doing their thing. Mm-hmm. So we all know that on a subconscious level. So if I am in a situation where I'm in the room full of just all women, I don't feel any threat at all. None. But a woman in a room full of all men may not really think, even if there's no threat, and she knows that there's no threat, there's still, just on a very deep, primal, subconscious level, there's that fear or that edge that goes with it, just because we're different. So that's why I explain, men have negative feelings about women, but there's no fear behind it. Whereas women have fear behind it because, quite frankly, unfortunately, most women have a good reason to fear men, because they've had some sort of negative physical altercation with a man. Once they get to a certain age, most women have had a negative physical experience. So that's why the whole thing of going after, working with men is so different from working with women, because they're just different as far as their negativity levels.
Mm-hmm. And I want to kind of tap on to when you're talking about, that a lot of women have experienced negative experiences with men. More, and what I want to really kind of tap into, and how your method, the technique, the Michael's Magic, can help with that. Talk about rape or molestation or anything like that. So is it possible to, because, a lot of women would say that requires a lot of years of therapy, or we just forget about it and we just kind of bury it under the rug, and, we're over that, it's done and over, it's in the past, but really it's still very much alive. The energy is in our bodies. So can you help women in that aspect as well?
Absolutely. And one of the examples that I give is, I got a call this one time from this one woman. I'd never met her, and she lived in the Bay Area, and she said she had been raped 4 years earlier. And she still, every night, she'd gone to therapy for 4 years, 4 years in therapy. Every night she woke up screaming, every single night. I did one session with her. She never again woke up screaming. It was over. It was just done, because it's what I explained earlier. We remove the neural pathway between the memory and the feeling. So even if you think about it, you can't access the feeling again because it's gone. So there actually is science behind this. I call it magic, but if you look at NLP, the root of what I do, NLP is actually a science. It was invented by scientists who do a very scientific step, and the scientific step is removing the neural pathway between the memory and the feeling. So we do that. And yes, we've been conditioned to believe, it takes years to get over any post-traumatic stress disorder, anything like that. It takes years because the business of therapy, psychotherapy, the business of that has done a great job of marketing to everyone, saying, you need to come to therapy and you need to work through your pain and all that. And that's garbage. That's garbage. You don't need to work through your pain. You just need to cut the tie. And that's what we do, and it's really simple and easy. You just cut the tie. The problem with that is it's not good for keeping a therapist in business if they cure their patient. Because that's, sometimes you just get one session with the patient because they're fixed. They don't come back. So that means that therapist has to be constantly marketing for new patients, and they don't want to do that. So their strategy is, yes, it takes years to get better.
Which is really sad because you continuously go through therapy and you're still, it doesn't, and how many years? I've known people in therapy for over 25 years. And you think, wow, that's a long time. And when you're talking about in such a short period of time, very, very, very powerful, And so, and I think also, too, that people say you can't get over something or it's hereditary, it's through the ancestors, that, it was in my ancestry, so now it's carrying on and I'm going to carry it on. What are your thoughts on that as far as bringing that forward as well? We can break that with this Michael's magic technique, yes?
Oh, of course you can break that. Here's the thing. When someone says, well, it's a hereditary thing or it's whatever, it's a belief. That's what they believe. Okay, beliefs are not facts. They are just beliefs. And we have to look at you and I and everyone in the world has different beliefs about everything. Your beliefs about the world are different from mine. But the thing is what you believe to be true is true for you, but not for me or anyone else. Like what I believe to be true is true for me, but not for you or for anyone else. So when someone believes whatever, money is the root of all evil, money doesn't grow on trees, whatever stupid nonsense that people believe, they believe it's a fact, but it's not. It's just their belief. So until someone, and usually when I do my seminar, that's the first thing we work on is their beliefs. Until they're willing to release beliefs that don't work and find something that does work for them, we have no place to start. So we start by eliminating the negative beliefs first, and at least getting them to recognize that the beliefs are probably wrong. They can't all be right. Everyone's belief in the world about everything can't all be right. It's just mathematically impossible. So we must believe or must assume that they're all wrong. So instead of believing money is the root of all evil, believe something that works for you. Believe something like prosperity and abundance is everywhere and it helps make the world grow. Something like that. That will help you become more prosperous than believing money is the root of all evil, or that this condition I have is hereditary, unless it is a hereditary thing. Some people, there are actual physical diseases that are hereditary, but not emotional stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that being said, I'm sure the listeners are saying, can we do a process? Because I'm saying, can we do a process here? So would you mind doing a process on the show just to give an example of what you do?
Absolutely, I would love to. So what we'll do is I'm going to make this topic generic. I'm going to let you, when you're listening, whoever's listening, I want you personally to pick the topic. So it's going to be negative feelings about a person or negative feelings about a prior event. So in other words, something happened, and when you think of that, you still feel bad about it. You still have anger or pain or whatever. And it could be your ex-spouse, or it could be someone hurt you in the past, whatever it is. You pick one thing, okay? So
could it be negative feelings around money, or could, you know what I mean? So if somebody's saying, well, I don't really have a feeling around men or love or sex or anything, but I have these negative feelings around money, could they do that as well?
You can. What I would ask you to do is, if you're an adult, you have negative feelings about something. Someone has hurt you, or but if you can't think, if you're in total denial and you're saying, no, I've worked through all my pain and I'm fine, then sure, pick. This is how you would do it: is you would visualize the money and find whatever resistance that you have about it, about the money. So we're looking for the negative feelings about whatever it is. So you can do that. I would suggest, though, doing something that's concrete, physical. Someone hurt you, and you still, when you think of it, that's probably the easiest one to fix over a call like this.
Okay.
But
okay,
you
perfect.
can pick if you have whatever it is that you think is important. All right?
That's perfect.
So all you have to do is sit back and close your eyes. And keep your eyes closed until I tell you to open them. And it's really important for you to do this exercise. You don't want to just be listening to me talk and just go, oh, yeah, whatever. Do this. So close your eyes, really close your eyes, and keep them closed until I tell you to open them. And just begin by taking a couple of long, slow, deep breaths. That's right. And I want you to just stop and go inside and get a really good mental image that represents the issue, whatever it is. Get a good mental image of it and get all the negative feelings you have about it as strongly as you possibly can. Get a really good mental image and the negative feelings you have about it as strongly as you possibly can. Excellent. Now what I want you to do is just notice it expanding until it becomes twice the size. And now notice it expanding again, so much so it fills the whole area where you're sitting. And now that you've done that, it's probably pretty uncomfortable right about now, but you've proven you can shift its size. So notice it shrinking all the way down to its original size. And now notice it shrinking again, all the way down to the size of a pea. And now notice it turning pink. And I would like for you to imagine that you're standing on a beautiful beach at sunset. And take that pink pea into your hand. Take the pink pea into your hand and throw it out into the water as far as you possibly can. And notice that when it hits, it's going to splash up really high in a really cool color, any color you want it to be. And that color is filled with confidence and success now. That color comes towards you and fills in the entire area where the negative feelings used to be. When you've done all that and when you're ready, and only when you're ready for the unwanted feelings are gone forever, now you may open your eyes. So how was that?
Wow, that was powerful. You know, I don't know if anybody on the call that you're listening or you're going to be listening after the show, but a lot of emotion came up for me. And to me, that means, you know, it's like when you have that feeling that you know that it's still there. And I think it's, what's the word, like you're able to release it because you're in that place of where you wanted, that's the word I want to say, is where you want them to feel that pain, right? I think that's the point of what you're trying to say. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, you feel it, and then we change it. And so in order for us to change it, we have to recognize that it's there. And then once we recognize where it is, then we erase the neural pathway connecting it to the memory.
Right.
So you don't have to tell us what it was that you worked on.
Right.
But before, when you thought of it, you'd instantly get a negative feeling. And now when you think about it, notice how you now feel different. Probably pretty neutral, huh?
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it's almost like you search for it. It's like you kind of want to look for it, you know?
Yeah,
and not
before
really.
It was just there.
Yes. Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. And, you know, it's interesting because why isn't this, like, out so much more where people have access? Well, I mean, this is great because you're doing the interview, and so this is a good way for anybody that's listening that hey, if you can get over what is it, PTSD or
PTSD.
PTSD, yeah, or anything like any kind of, sexual trauma, emotional trauma, any of that. Why? I mean, to me, it's like, if that can be gone like that, why wouldn't you want to do that? You know what I mean? It's crazy.
I agree.
Wow, so powerful. Well, oh my gosh, what a great ending to an interview. Oh my gosh, that was so amazing. Thank you so much for really doing that process, Michael. It really, it was a very powerful process, and I've done a different process with you when we first met too, on a different thing, and that, it's just amazing. Like, I still don't even, that doesn't even affect me, and I don't even think about it. You know what I mean? When I get around the person, it's totally fine. So, yeah, it's powerful stuff. So, I have one last question. Yes, thank you so much. I have one last question before we go. What is one thing that you would, a gem that you could give the audience, the listeners that are listening, that has really helped you on your path?
Well, there's so many. So narrowing it down is tough. I think the biggest thing that I tell people that is a big thing for me is, when I was a kid, I often heard that the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and that I looked it up. That was actually said by Saint Bernard in the 11th century. And so I went to Catholic school, kindergarten through 12th grade, and the nuns said, what that means is, well, you intend to do good, but you never get around to it, and so you finally die, you go up to the pearly gates, and St. Peter says, well, I intended to let you in, but hit the road, Jack. So that's one interpretation of it, and it's valid. But here's how I interpret it. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. You have family and friends and teachers and ministers and all these people who, for your best interest, are trying to tell you how to live your life. And it may be in total conflict with what you want. You may want to be an astronaut, and everyone's telling you, oh, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that. And they're saying that with good intentions because they don't want to see you get hurt. But the truth is, if you listen to them, then you will be living in hell because you will not be living your dream. So the road to hell is listening to their good intentions. That's how I view that. So if you have something that you want and you believe in, you should go for it. And when someone says you can't, just ignore them and go do it.
Awesome. How powerful. Well, amazing. Thank you, Michael, so much. And happy birthday to you. And really thank you for being on the show. I know you're busy, and we really appreciate having you on the show and doing what you do. It's amazing that you can help people in this way. So we really appreciate that.
Thank you. It's my pleasure being here, and thank you for having me as a guest.
You're welcome. And thank you for all the listeners out there who joined us today and the ones who will join us via YouTube. We thank you so much. Please don't forget to follow, subscribe, comment, and like us. And you can join me next week, June 16th, for the next show, Intuitive Feminine Empowerment with Alyssa Joy Torres. So, again, Michael, thank you so much, and I hope you have a most magical day today, and happy birthday.
Thank you. Take care.
You're welcome. Thank you. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Father's Day is just around the corner, and if you're still looking for the perfect Father's Day gift, look no further than Levi's at JCPenney. We're giving you a Dad's Day deal on the Levi's 505 Regular, the original zip-fly jean that's styled for every dad. The Levi's 505 Regular offers classic straight-leg style and all-around comfort that makes for a gift he's sure to love. And it's on sale now at JCPenney for just $36.99. Visit your nearest JCPenney or jcpenney.com to get him a Father's Day favorite he can wear all year long.
Grand Canyon University is Arizona's premier private Christian university, committed to providing next-generation education for students who want to make a difference in the 21st century workforce. GCU offers more than 190 academic programs in high-demand fields across 9 distinct colleges, including our prestigious GCU Honors College. Earn your degree online, in the evening, or on our vibrant Phoenix campus. Fast track options and academic scholarships still available with no out-of-state tuition. Visit gcu.edu.